comes to the ultimate front-wheel drive hot hatch, how much power is too much power to put through the front wheels? Well, this week we're going to explore that, because next to me is a Honda Civic Type R EP3, the generation built between 2001 and 2005, famed really for that wonderful K20 engine producing 197 brake horsepower in standard form. But oh no, this one's not producing that. This one has been turboed, heavily modified, and is putting out an unbelievable 380 brake horsepower. How is this car going to drive? What's been done to it? And what are my views? Welcome to another Fast and Fun video. It's Rich here, and this week we're driving this mad, bad, barking EP3.
Facing at a photo they've taken. Space tree flying through the skies, and battles happen everywhere. I don't need any hero to save me. I don't know why the kid's always crying. I've been thinking about all the captains while we left in a wasted planet. I thought I had it all together, but I'm waking up sad. You don't need to show your father love anymore to them.
But the EP3 was famed for having that K20 engine, the screamer, the VTEC power, all delivered right at the top end. Doesn't really come alive until sort of 5,500 revs, and it revs right up to 8,000 revs. Iconic car. In fact, the K20 is, for me, one of the most famous engines really in the last sort of two decades. But when it's been turbo engines, mid-range torque, give you that instant kick. How is a turbo going to fit into a VTEC? How is the car going to drive? How's that power delivery going to be? That's what I'm really, really intrigued to find out. I think, to be fair to the owner here, I don't want to miss things out. There's a lot of money. Turbo conversion was about 4K, 7K in total for all the mods that have been done to this car. And that's why Civic Type R's turbos are significantly more than the standard Type R. Good Type R, probably today's market, 7K, maybe 8K, that sort of market. This is probably around 12, 13, 14K. They go for a significant premium above and beyond the Type R. So here's just reading through so I get everything. A 3431E turbo, LA Fab Sidewinder stainless manifold. There's been a custom downpipe and screamer pipe. There's been a Tegiwar catback exhaust system, 1050 injectors, M Factory LSD. So the EP3s never came with an LSD. So the new, with that much power, they would need an LSD to pull around the corners. So they say this one's got an LSD fitted. Honda K-Pro V3 ECU, remapped by Jess Halford. It wears 17-inch Evo 9 alloys as well. So it's got Mitsubishi Evo alloys on the car. It's got a mobile steering wheel, and it's also got coilovers as well, yellow speed coilovers that have been fitted as well, and that's dropped the ride height as well. So again, how is that going to ride? Is it going to be really firm? Is it too hard? Is it more track car based, etc.? Well, we'll find out. This has done 99,000 miles, so just under 100,000 miles in its sort of 18, 19 years. So let's have a walk around the car, pick out a few features. First thing to say about this car is that visually there is no indication at all that this is a turbo version. It just looks like a standard EP3 Type R. It's still got the Type R badge at the front. The headlights, you can see, just probably need a bit of a polish actually. It's in this gunmetal grey, really nice looking colour, set off by interesting concoction really to go with Evo 9 alloys, 17-inch, really lovely looking alloys. Whether you want Mitsubishi alloys on a Honda car, not so sure personally, but you've got to say you could easily take those, debadge those, and yeah, nice looking alloy wheels. The rear windows as normal, tinted out. The Type R badging down the side, just above the sill. Then if you go around the back, the exhaust there, huge exhaust, and absolutely look how far that's sticking out the back of the car. But other than the exhaust there, it's pretty standard looking actually. There's a bit of a giveaway inside. First met with that Momo steering wheel, and then you've got a whole selection of gauges. And you've got an air fuel gauge on the right hand side there, and then you've got the sort of the 3 pods at the top, which we'll have a look at what they are. I think oil pressure, boost, turbo boost, etc. is up there as well. And then you've got these lovely Recaro seats, big red Recaro seats, really nice looking. But again, standard EP3 inside, really, famed for that gear stick coming out of the centre dash. But really, you wouldn't necessarily, again, there's no turbo sticker, there's not much telling you what lies beneath the bonnet. Let's just open the bonnet. Brilliant. My son's got the EP2 Civic Sport. His has gone the same. It feels every EP3 that I ever see, the pull here for the bonnet has broke off again, so you need a pair of pliers, which I'll go and get to pull the bonnet. So that's the famous K20 engine in there. And I say, with the list of mods, but the thing that's absolutely evident is that big bad boy turbo there. Absolutely, what a monster that is. And it's just a clutter of stuff, wires, cables, everything going across it. But wow, that is some turbo. And with all the heat shield going around the back as well. Because that boy's going to get hot. That this EP3 only weighs 1,200 kilos, so in modern day terms, it's a light car. In fact, even when it was built, that's pretty light. 380 brake horsepower, front wheel drive, trying to steer as well as deploy the power. It's had the limited slip diff, I think that was imperative. The owner says it's good unless it's wet. So let's take it out on some better roads and see what this car, this heavily modified EP3, drives like. Very much standard dash layout for this turbo EP3. The dials along the top, the Teletubbies dials. You've got oil temp on the left, you've got water temp in the middle, and you've got boost pressure on the right, and then you've got an air fuel ratio there on the right hand side as well. Dash as normal, that rev counter on the left hand side, revving to over 8,000 revs, which is great. So let's take it out and onto some of my favourite B roads and see what it drives like. So when you just sat at sort of a cruising speed, I've just put it into 5th gear here, 50 miles an hour down this B road. Nice and steady. There's a little bit of vibration. The ride is hard, but it's not excessive at all. And for coilovers, yeah, it rides actually really quite well. Clearly it's on the sporty side, but it's not overly harsh. And what I've also found is that the brakes are actually really good, because I haven't checked, but I don't think the brakes have been changed from the standard EP3 brakes, and do you know what? They're absolutely doing a fine job, and it's probably helped by the fact that this car's light at 1,200 kilos. The car just feels like it's got all this pent-up power laying beneath that bonnet. This little Momo steering wheel. Just got a little chance here, just a little squirt up this hill here, just on half pressure. Or you can feel the turbo, put 2 hands on the steering wheel there. Just a little bit of a light acceleration there, and you just feel this build up of turbo boost, and yeah, this thing's, you feel like it's going to be super quick. Quite a lot of noise, road noise, engine noise. This is not a quiet, stealthy car that will drift along. This feels, yeah, you can hear the power, you can feel it, the vibration, the noise. A lot of it's engine, the turbo, bit of road noise as well, some wind noise. And we're only going along here at 50 miles an hour along this A road actually. Seats are lovely though, really comfortable, and the gear stick, delight where it is. Love the EP3 gear stick being where it is. So just flip it down there. Oh, just give it a little blip of the accelerator and you feel the whoosh, turbo building, lift back off again, and it's ready to go. It's doing what great sports cars need to do. Put a smile on your face. So we're just going to come out of this village here, just drop into 35, drop it into 30, third gear, so 30 miles an hour, hit the national speed at 3,000 revs, and accelerate. Wow! Woo! That acceleration is something to behold. In modern day 380 brake horsepower probably doesn't seem huge numbers, but you've got to think this is a car that's approaching 20 years old, and that is a lot of power, especially to put through the front wheels. That explosion, I didn't know how VTEC and turbo would work together. To tell you the truth, from sort of it builds at 3,500, 4,000, it all starts to build, and suddenly whole hell breaks loose. You've got all these noises, mechanical noises, the boost you can hear building, and it just goes absolutely mad. There's quite a lot of torque steer on this. To tell you the truth, the LSD has got one hell of a job here to control the power, especially when you're trying to get power down on corners as well. Wow, that was an event, absolutely an event. This is an interesting village to come out of here. It's a 40, but I'll slow down to 30. I'll drop it into third gear because this is a really smooth tarmac now, to see how the car handles this. So 30 miles an hour, 3,000, and again, put the power down, 4, 5, yeah, oh, 6, 7, oh. It's almost scary the way this deploys its power. There's torque steer evident there. It doesn't help that, well, the cars, you struggle to keep it in a straight line. Wow. The steering's a bit of a disappointment. It's actually sort of null and a void of any type of sort of feedback. It's very, very false. A bit of a disappointment, that, because that's not the way I remember the EP3 being. Just there on a little bit of boost. So that, yeah, the steering is a little, it's all very false actually. I've got no feedback coming through at all. I really don't know what's happening to those front wheels at all. Through the corners, so that, yeah, steering and feedbacks, it's a little bit of a disappointment, that. But I have to say, the explosion of power, you just get all these mechanical noises, and you just think, oh my God, is this explosion that is happening, and you're just praying that it's not exploding the engine, and it's just, I mean, the force, it feels every good for that 380 brake horsepower. It's dangerously quick. I think it'd help. The steering wheel for me just feels a little bit small as well, so that's not helping with regard to feedback and communication. I just prefer it a little bit bigger. It's an aftermarket Momo. I like the feel of it. It's just, even though it's quite worn, I just prefer something a little bit bigger. I think give me a little bit more control. But by God, is this car quick. That explosion, almost addictive. I mean, it's just, wow, the sensation here. You know you're in a quick car. This is not like any type of modern car that will remove you from the action. You are absolutely part of the action here, 100%. It just almost feels, on boost here you see now, it just almost feels just too quick. Drops into third gear through these couple of really nice corners. Oh, the LSD is struggling here just to turn in. Oh, really pulling it through the corners. So I'm not sure I summarised the car really. To tell you the truth, this turbo EP3. First of all, I think it is insanely quick, this car. The engine is phenomenal. The way it delivers the power, perhaps at times, in fact, forget at times, it goes beyond what the chassis can take. The steering, the huge torque steer. You're fighting the car even in a straight line. Through the corners, you're just very, very cautious that you're just not going to come on boost at the wrong time and you're going to end up backwards into the trees. But, well, some of the best cars ever are not perfect, and it gives you excitement, it gets your adrenaline rushing, and as I say, point to point on a straight bit of road, flipping heck, this car just is a wallop of acceleration. But it's not refined, it's not subtle in the way it does it. It's just this whoosh of turbo, but yet it's still revving out to over 8,000 RPM. You've got everything there. It's noisy at times, there's all sorts of mechanical noises, but it just all adds to the sense of what this car is. This car's taking it up to another level. But I go back to, does it answer the question that I set out? Is 380 brake horsepower too much for the front wheels of a Type R? And part of me thinks, yeah, it is. It is too much. It's gone beyond what it should be at. It's almost double what it was designed for. And the LSD struggles at times to deploy that power. The steering's a little bit of a letdown. It feels a little bit wooden, a little bit null, a little bit lacking in feedback. And that's a huge disappointment. When you drive this with my Megane or Clio, the difference is stark. But you've got to say, if you want it to push this out for the weekend, to get your mates laughing, giggling, screaming, and at times shitting themselves because how quick this car is, then do you know what? Get yourself a turbo. Or turbo conversion, whether it's worth the significant premium, the significant cost associated with doing this, is only up to the owner of the car. But all I'm saying is, it's an event, it's exciting, and at times it's felt a little bit flipping borderline dangerous. But wow, it's addictive. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have, as always, thumbs up, subscribe, stay tuned. Another video coming up next week.